This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome to the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Ken, and with me as always are Cody and Kyle.
Hello.
How's it going this week, guys?
It's Dune weekend.
It is.
That's
Dune.
how it's going.
Now, up next on the docket, we have Dune.
Why are you always surprised when we start the podcast? Oh yeah, we're recording.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Yeah, it's the weekend.
Good morning, everybody.
It centers me, and then I'm like, okay, where am I at?
We have Dune. We have Ron's Gone Wrong. We had a surprise opening by Halloween Kills that was day and date that was much better than expected.
So much better than expected. That's
Oh, yeah.
shocking. I don't know if that speaks volumes of the franchise power of Halloween, this reboot franchise, or if it speaks to how people just don't have Peacock.
Don't have what? What is that?
Is it Peacock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. It's
Yeah, they
Peacock.
don't have Peacock. Like I'm saying, like
They don't have
Peacock. What?
You have no peacock.
Is it Peacock?
The
What-
animal?
what
I
is
think a
this?
lot of people don't have a peacock.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have a Peacock.
I don't know what
that has to
Animal
do with
or
the movie.
streaming.
I would
either.
guess at least 50% of people don't have a peacock.
Ken.
Okay, moving on. But that was really good to see that Halloween did so well in theaters despite, having streaming go up against it.
I was really surprised because I really thought streaming would hurt it more than it did.
I mean, it could have hurt it. I mean,
Yeah.
the first one was a $70-80 million opener.
When Boss Baby wasn't hurt that bad, I thought it was kind of a fluke because we have seen on like HBO Max titles those being hurt by being on theaters and HBO Max, and we have seen a decline in the Disney ones too. Even with the upcharge, there is a difference in the gross when it's on day and date with Disney Plus. So to not really see it happening with the Universal titles just tells me that their difficulty adopting Peacock. People are just not.
Yeah,
Buying it.
Well, they're despite saying, this movie is also free on HBO Max, you still have to pay, the subscription price. And
Right.
after a while, people will just choose like the most popular streaming services. And HBO is clearly more popular than Peacock.
Yeah, and their peacock is just not as robust as they think it is.
Well,
Okay.
It's just not offering enough.
The market penetration is not as great as they thought it was.
We're professionals, we
We are.
promise. Anyway, what were we talking about again? Halloween. But it is a really good grossing number, though. I mean, like Ken was saying, the first one opened to 7-8 million, and it wasn't suffering from streaming, being competitive with it. We didn't
Right.
have like a pandemic or the aftermaths of a pandemic to worry about, and it still got to 50 million. And it may seem like it's a far off number between the two, but I still think it's promising.
I think it's really promising because this was the second of 3. You knew that the gross was going to be down. It couldn't have done more than the first one.
Yeah.
So I think the opening is really robust. I do think it really only has a life of 3 weeks, though, until Halloween comes out. And then after that, we're into Thanksgiving holiday titles. And,
Yeah.
No,
and if it
that's-
survives the first, maybe it can't really survive past the first and second week of November. So it's got 3, maybe 5 weeks into it, and then it'll probably be off for the Thanksgiving titles.
I mean, Eternals will definitely play a role at the start of it
Oh.
for it to,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Eternals
that
will
seems
probably
pretty likely.
decimate it that first week in November.
And all of our other horror titles, regardless of streaming or not, have died a hard death after
They
the
do.
first week.
I mean, they really, are quick burners.
But like we said last week, it was a very well done, very quality movie outside of the horror
Yeah,
stuff.
Kyle, Ken liked it more than what you let on in your in your review.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Spoilers abound, but they really had to hammer it home. Like you said, they hammered home like he is evil. He cannot be killed by conventional weapons like
Right.
Keith Richards.
Right.
They really hammer this home. Well, yeah, when he gets up after being killed, with quotations, I was still surprised. Even though they said this over and over again for
What? He's a killing machine?
he's literally unkillable.
Why didn't anyone tell me?
I totally went for it. I was like, oh, okay, now they're going to do the movie thing where they put him in the morgue and he wakes up in the morgue.
Yeah.
Nope, he wakes up there in the street and disembowels everyone.
After being shot and
stabbed
beaten.
in the spinal cord.
And he still is like, oh, ow, okay, back to work.
He just hops up. But the guy who plays that character, and they never give you a full face view, but he is one creepy dude. Like, I'd put him up there with the Tony Todds of the world who played the Candyman originally. Like, he just, you don't even see his whole face, and he has the face.
But you
of
know,
that guy.
you know. Yeah, well, I'm glad Ken liked it. I mean, I didn't think the movie was bad. I mean, there definitely was obvious problems with it, but I just wanted to see Michael Myers kill people, and I don't think we need to look too deep into it outside of that.
Yeah, and he set a record for a slasher movie. The most people killed on screen in a slasher movie. Yeah, they said this was the most of all time, even more than the Rob Zombie Halloweens, which sounds surprising. Not that I have seen those, but it was the most. Well, it helps when he hacks apart 12 firefighters in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
You pretty much gave him an early start.
Yeah. He was just running downhill at that point.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into stuff that matters this week. Halloween did good. How is this Dune going to open with its same streaming component?
So, I don't know. Like, I feel like I have way underestimated this film. Like, I didn't think I didn't think it had an audience. I thought HBO Max would hurt it, but it might survive HBO Max because it's such a film you should see on the big screen. It's such a spectacle. And I think that there is a core audience of people out there that still like sci-fi. This is the granddad movie of all sci-fis. And so I think, and they want to see it on the big screen because you want that huge spectacle. So there is a lot of interest in it. I'm getting word that there's a ton of pre-sales on it, a lot of advanced tickets.
I think it was 5 million in the Thursday grossings, if I read that right.
Yeah.
5.1, yep.
Okay. So, which did better than Halloween, which Ken misreported last week because it was only like
by
4 million.
Lot.
Whoops.
Oops. By a lot.
Sorry, everyone.
So
if you come here for very specific, accurate news, you're coming to the wrong people.
We get the general. We take
the temperature of the room, guys.
Yeah. You could tell even when I'm like, is that right? And then I just go along with it.
We're not measuring in Celsius or Fahrenheit here, guys. Just the general temperature of the room. It's fine.
We're just sticking our heads out the window to see if it's hot or cold.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
It's fine. So I'm really surprised. I think it's going to have a pretty robust opening weekend. I don't know if it'll make 50. That just to me seems a little high, but I think a solid 35 to 40 would be a good weekend. If it did 50, even better. If we could have back-to-back triple $50 million opening weekends in a row, oh my gosh.
I mean,
October is amazing.
With half of them being, also on streaming services, that would be amazing.
It would be very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, when I went to my showing, I was amazed. We were in the largest auditorium at that theater, and it was shoulder to shoulder with people. Like, it was nearly a sold out showing. There was probably about, I would say, 80 to 85% people. And I think a lot of them are like the diehard, fans of the Dune books. And I'm sure there's cross connections between that and like Star Wars fans or other sci-fi fantasy type fans too. But
nerd alert.
Even still, I was probably the one that didn't have a clue. I was probably the outcast in that group just by conversations I would overhear. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm out of my element. But
I got 2 different text messages from theater owners that that tested the film and watched it Thursday morning. Mm-hmm. And what is this Dune movie about? And it's like, it's about 2.5 hours.
Why do you ask?
Yeah. Because I have no response for that. I mean,
fair enough. Like, even I watched the movie and I'm like, it's hard to explain. But
I just know it delves in. It delves with houses, like royal houses of power, different families, different houses of power. It has economic ties with this spice trade. That this is this galactic spice that is from this one planet.
It's like currency.
Yeah,
a resource of some kind.
It is a resource that is very rare, very traded, and whoever controls the spice controls basically everything.
Oh, sweet. So they're like Spice Girl NFTs.
and so there's intrigue because one house is taking out another house, and basically it's betrayal, and they basically kill everybody except for the son, who gets abandoned on this planet, which they had been in control of, I think. I'm not super specific on all that.
They got control of
It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I've never read the book.
They got control of, I don't even remember all the plants, but the desert planet that they are on throughout the whole movie, but they get ambushed by another...
the other house.
The other house, yes.
Yeah. Long story short, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, but in space, and there's giant worms, and they are the ones that actually create the spice. Dun, dun, dun. And the main character can commune with them, and then he controls them in the end, and then he takes out everybody.
I know this
with
book,
the worms.
I know this book was like written in the 60s, but I still got a kick out of this sci-fi epic with the main character being named Paul. You know what? It's not like a sci-fi name. It's just unlike everyone else who's like, it's Gargantuan, and that's my friend Gerald
Paul.
Exactly. And then it's like, I'm Paul, and it's like, well, it doesn't quite work the same.
Okay, Chardonnay, calm down.
I remember watching the other film, the first film.
Yeah.
Of it, and a long time ago, and the only thing I can really take away from that was that their eyes glowed blue because of the spice, and water is so scarce on this planet that when they die, they put their bodies in this thing and they suck all the water out of them. It's creepy.
That's not in this movie quite like that, but yes, they probably do that.
It was. I remember it was a cave. It was a whole ritual.
It was also a bad movie.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what they're doing in this movie.
And the hero looks like a pork tenderloin.
Little light on the bone there.
I liked Chalamet in this. I'll defend him.
I'm rare.
But it might just do business. Hopefully it's not completely front loaded, but hey, if we get like a big opening anyway, that'll still be remarkable.
I don't mind underestimating something.
Oh yeah.
Like, terrible. More people came and saw it than I thought they would.
If I'm wrong and underestimate something, I'm much more okay with that. I don't want to overestimate.
You don't want to hot take it at 60 billion.
Be sad.
What film was that? He's like 60 billion, just throwing it out there. It was like
Suicide
20.
Squad.
Oh yeah. 60.
That should have done 60 million. I'm telling you.
It was so stupid. It was worse than the first one.
But yeah, the projections have gone from $70 million opening to now
that was global 70.
Yeah, it was prefaced 2 days ago after it was put out there a week ago that it was $70 million opening.
Yeah.
And then it's like a global opening. No one's ever said global opening.
That's such a misleading headline too.
No one's ever said that. And all of a sudden, global opening.
When it's opening in this country and they're like, global opening.
Yeah,
no one in this country is like, cares what it does in France.
All the films that have popped this year are franchises.
Yeah.
Or have some tie into something. I mean, the most obscure one was Shang-Chi, but it was still under
Marvel.
Disney and Marvel's banner. I mean, everything else, Godzilla, Fast 9,
Suicide Squad.
No.
I know.
Kyle
but
put
all
it
the
out
ones
there.
that have popped are in that vein. Halloween,
Yeah.
James Bond, Venom 2. I mean, there's a reason why these are doing well. This one is as standalone gets.
Yeah, but it's not. That's what I thought was kind of crazy. Is Kyle has let us know it's like a first parter out of what I'm guessing is a 2-part. But I don't know why
Probably.
Warner's never put it out there that this is the Dune 1, that there's more Dune to come.
I think they kind of wanted to test the water. That's my guess.
They
I
want to
think
spend $250 million to test the water.
That was a lot of money.
it's a weird way to test, but that's what they did. Because I'm betting odds are they're gonna want, not only sequels if this performs well, but also all of the HBO Max spinoffs that you could possibly think of.
Oh yeah.
So, but I think
Is it Atreides? Is that what the house name is?
yes, that is one of
House
them.
of Atreides
Good
spinoff.
guess. It's possible.
Everything I know, I learned from movies.
So yeah, it's all about Dune right now. Then, at least for this weekend.
Yeah.
But anything else in regards to bookings that you've noticed for the next few weeks, or
that Disney's being a nightmare right now because they have way too much product and they expect you to want to play it all.
Yeah.
Even though, let's be realistic, like this is not Disney product. Like, I really didn't want to play Last Duel in a lot of places. Like, this is not going to be good. Who wants a rape movie? I don't care if it's under the quote Disney umbrella. This is not going to work.
But it's Ridley Scott. It's a Fox 20th century film.
Even if it had been Fox, I'm not saying it's not working because it's Disney. I'm saying this film does not work, period.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
But
they treated it like it was, a Marvel film, nearly a Marvel film. And now they're doing the same thing with Antlers. And these are not films that we want to play. There's too much other product right now that is performing way better. But you just can't go to Disney and be like, no, thank you. Like they have no idea what that is.
They're like, no, thank you.
I know it's been really rough being like, I don't think this will work. What do you mean this won't work? And then just figuring out, fine, we don't want you anyways.
And then on Monday, it really didn't work.
Yeah. And then you don't hear them being like, sorry, you know, like, oh, you were right.
They forced the issue with this one.
You holding it clean, right? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Right.
I'm just going to burn that screen.
Oh, I guess now you have a screen for Antlers.
Like,
I don't know. I don't think so.
Starting all over again.
Yeah.
Endless nightmare.
Well, the people who actually paid for tickets to that film protested and burned the screen down. So it's not there anymore.
Sorry. Yeah, no, that's been rough. Like you knew going into October that something was going to be an issue. Some studio was not going to get in. There's just too much product and there's too much good product. And you are looking at it and you're like, does a second or a third screen of something make more sense? Does a second screen of Halloween make more sense this week than a Last Duel? Or, so those are the things you're trying to balance. And deep down, you know that, yes, a second screen of Halloween would have made a lot more sense than opening a Last Duel. But you try not to burn those relationships with the studios. You want to be fair.
Yeah.
It just sucks to tell people, be like, this isn't going to work. And then to have them and then throw it back in your face. Like, we all know that's not going to work. Like, why am I the one out here saying it? So. Yeah,
we're dealing with the same thing the opposite of this with Braun. Where they know how to promote these. They know how to market these, but it's not happening.
But it's not happening. In fact, I got a peek at some tracking, and Ron was tracking less than Clifford.
Really?
From Paramount. Now, I kind of chalk that up to that Clifford has better name recognition because Ron is original, like original IP. But still, there is no way on earth that given Disney's marketing prowess that should not be, that Clifford should be out tracking it.
And Paramount just started Clifford promotion too.
Yeah, Paramount at the last minute was like, let's add Clifford in a weird midweek opening. And like nothing should be in Clifford's favor in this.
And Raya in a pandemic not opening in several major chains did like 7.5 million, and it's projecting below that.
Yeah.
Jeez, that much?
I feel like at this point they have to be purposely wanting to hurt this film. I mean,
because there's some sort of profit sharing or something going on.
Who knows? Who knows what it is? But I can't imagine the film is so bad animated because I think it's in like a Blue Sky. Wasn't it one of theirs?
Blue
they
Sky
were on a
animation.
roll. I mean, they were coming off Ferdinand and
Crudes? I mean,
no,
I guess
that's
not Crudes.
DreamWorks.
They were
The Pigeon Impossible.
Yeah,
now I can never remember.
Spies in Disguise.
Spies in Disguise. Ferdinand. They were on a roll. They were starting to gain momentum. So I
And they
cannot.
had all the Ice Age movies. Like they've done a lot of.
No,
Didn't they have
Blue
Ice Age?
Sky.
Yeah, no, they were Ice Age.
Okay,
They were
I
Ice
thought
Age.
that was
Yeah.
DreamWorks.
They had a lot of solid films. They were good. I mean, they weren't Illumination or
Right.
DreamWorks, but
they were on
right
their
up there.
way. They were becoming that. So I can't imagine it's bad. And
I'm pretty sure Disney also shut down Blue Sky.
Yeah.
right.
And the
Yeah.
trailer looks great. It's easy to sell.
Yeah.
Every kid wants a cell phone or a personal robot or
Yeah. And then for one to like go crazy
and be
is
silly. I mean, it's from ages 5 to 12. It hits that whole market, and there's nothing controversial about it. There's no violence. There's no like
there's
Mitchell's
probably...
versus Machines was that same thing.
Yeah.
But it had more violence and action and things like that.
I would think that then this one has.
So this seems pretty straightforward, an easy sell for Disney.
Right.
I mean, this is WALL-E for crying out loud.
They didn't want
without
to
the social commentary.
They didn't want to take some locations. They were like being really weird about like being strict on a print count. I didn't get it. When you look at a film and then you kind of look at a print count that you're given, you're like, if you've been booking at things long enough, you know the general locations you're going to get. You know where this will place, and then you know where you might have to fight for it, and where there might be a chance. But some of the locations I got denied on, I was shocked. I was like, I don't think I'm asking for too much here. So I don't know if it's a retaliation for not giving them their last duel in their antlered states, or if they're purposely just limiting this film, or what. I really don't know what's going on, but it's something weird is going on with it.
Yeah, it's so odd that they would rather try and push hard for Last Duel over, it's an anime movie that is clearly more up their alley to promote to begin with, right?
You have to
for sure.
assume there's some sort of weird profit sharing or back end deal that somebody has with this that they're trying to limit.
Yeah,
Maybe.
or they're or something with the animation studio they're trying to squash, or it's retaliatory for your bookings. There could be endless possibilities. All I know is that booking this film should have been easier than it was. They didn't confirm dates quick enough for what I thought that you should do to be able to promote.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't take certain locations, which was odd. So I don't know. I don't know what you do with this. It's fine that they didn't take some really small stuff, because we'll play them later, and it'll play just as good later as it will opening it. But right. I just think it warranted a bigger footprint than I got, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, a completely original Disney branded PG animated film.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
I just don't know why. I just feel like they're not marking in it at all. Like they want it to fail. And maybe they are heavily marketing it, and I'm just not seeing it. But you would think, as a mother with little kids, that I should be seeing this marketing. Like, I'm not outside their target audience right now.
Yeah, you basically are.
So I don't know. We'll see how it opens. I have high hopes for it. I know that our kids really want to see it, and that we're gonna try to take them to it and stuff. So I do have high hopes for this one, and it won't hurt Dune, and Dune's not going to hurt it. It's a perfect pairing this weekend. Something for the families, and then something for older kids, teenagers, and up.
I'd like to see it pop and do a huge, surprising number. Mm-hmm. I mean, under 10 million is a disservice to what Disney could do by filming a dog turd for 90 minutes and putting their name on it.
Right.
I mean, they can put their name on anything. I mean, they put it on Last Duel. Yeah. Why wouldn't they put it on this? And really put it out there.
Very strange. Very strange. All right. What should we move on and talk about next?
So we talked about Dune. You thought it was awesome. Great.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah. The director did a really good job at making this story feel as big and grand as the book suggests that it is. He made it so that way it wasn't too complicated. Like, despite me being an imbecile and missing a few plot points and certain relationship type stuff, I still got the gist of the story, and I still was wrapped up in it. And yeah, the CGI is great, the visuals are great, the action is awesome. There's not as action heavy as some may think it is, and some may not like that. They might not like that as a really long, drawn out, character driven story, but I think it could still really be entertaining for some people if they're willing to give it a chance. I mean, Game of Thrones was kind of like that for a while. It was more character driven than action oriented, and that seemed to turn out really well. So why can't Dune?
Maybe Dune will work because of the post Game of Thrones audience. Maybe like the story with the different houses at war, even though it's sci-fi, maybe that'll work rather than high fantasy like Game of Thrones. Maybe worms for dragons.
Sure, just replace worms or dragons for worms.
Yeah, maybe it'll all work out.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Because I know that
because people watched Game of Thrones, the PG-13 version, because they thought it was so great.
Yeah, the story was so good. The acting, spectacular.
They didn't just fast forward to the good part.
I'm sure they were just looking for all those peacocks.
Yeah. That was probably the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Dune's really great. So hopefully it does well.
All right.
And I guess speaking of streaming services like HBO and Peacock, we're here to talk about Netflix again.
Yeah. So Netflix makes original content, and they were in the news recently for one of their series just being so highly watched. What was it called? Squid Games?
Squid Game. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
Before we
I've
dive
never
into
seen
this,
it.
shout out to Netflix for giving theaters a theatrical window on Harder They Fall.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got a 2-week theatrical window on that
did
for
they?
the theaters that were able to open it this Friday
Nice.
on
Yeah.
10/22. So giving us an opportunity on an independent film
Right.
with a diverse cast,
A Western.
but it's good.
Right.
It's good for everyone.
They
That
have
was awesome.
They have another one coming up too. What's
Is that Red
Red-
Notice?
Red Notice.
Red Notice.
With
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds.
And Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
yeah.
That one
they're-
looks good.
Oh, I wonder why Netflix is doing this, because there's no upside to playing in theaters and having a theatrical window. Oh, wait, maybe there is.
Yeah.
Maybe there is to putting it out there. All right, back to the Squid
Okay.
Launcher or Squid Game or whatever the hell you're talking about.
Was it? Did it have a squid launcher in it?
Squid Launcher.
By the bits I've seen so far, no Squid Launcher.
Okay. Well, so it got in the press for having so many views, like billions of views or something crazy like that, hundreds
Yeah.
of millions of views. And I think people called Netflix out for their absurd number that they threw out for the views. So now they're going in a bid to have some more transparency when they do release data viewing numbers. They're going to go to total minutes viewed and not total times viewed.
Total amount of times
Yeah,
viewed. Yes.
yeah, they're going to use the total minutes of view time versus the number of times it was viewed, because to get the number of times it was viewed number, they count everything that was viewed within a 2-minute window.
Yeah.
So
if you viewed it for more than 2 minutes,
So
even
if
though
you're
it's
on-
2 hours long.
yeah, if you're on the menu and you're looking at it and you're kind of watching the first couple of minutes to see if you really want to watch it, and you're like, oh, this is weird, and you click off, they still count that as a view.
Right.
Where's the Squid Launcher?
I was promised a Squid Launcher.
Yeah. Where is the squid in the Squid Games? So yeah, they're gonna go to total hours or minutes viewed, which I think will obviously bring the number down quite a bit. Maybe not. Maybe going to this metric, they'll count repeat viewings where people just repeat view things over and over and over again.
I guess the context could be better than, judging someone's enjoyment or not enjoyment, judging by how many people watch something in a 2-minute span.
Well, I know kids programming, it look like it's going to go through the roof then if it's
Yes.
total amount viewed
Kids like kid stuff?
over and over and
600
over again.
600 billion people have watched Baby Shark.
Yeah. No, it's just toddlers watching it on repeat over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Make sure to sit them up. Facing the
Oh,
TV.
we're still in that phase. Luckily, we've moved on to Pokemon, and I got
Hey,
into
there
it
you
with
go.
them
Yeah.
until Sun and Moon series ended, and Ash just left all of his Pokemon that we just spent the whole series growing to love. He's just like, goodbye.
Don't know what that means, but
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Are we moving
I
on
hate-
now?
I
Can we
don't
move
like
on to
it.
other sad
I
stories?
don't like Ash now.
So speaking of sad stories this week, we got trailers for Uncharted and the Batman.
Oh, no. Before that, though, there was some sad news.
That was sarcasm,
Okay.
Cody. Then you were supposed to jump in and go, no, that's not really the sad news.
That is... No, I did. No, we really did get sad
You missed
news.
it.
This is fun, guys. Okay, what's the sad news?
So,
Jump into those.
so there was an accident on a movie set recently, and it's on the set of a new film Rust, starring Alec Baldwin, and something happened, and his prop gun went off and struck the cinematographer and the director, and put both of them in the hospital, and I don't think the cinematographer made it.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's just, you don't hear about that very often, and maybe it's because there's a lot of hidden stuff behind the scenes, but
Well, I think there's a
This
lot of
one's-
safety measures because
Yeah.
didn't Brandon Lee die being shot on the set of Crow?
Yeah, there was Bruce Lee died mysteriously, and then
Yeah.
his son died. with a prop gun incident.
Yeah, where the prop gun was loaded with Iran bullets, and it shot and killed him.
It definitely happens, but we only have like one other example of this happening.
Yeah,
So it's
rare.
Obviously a very, meticulous. The prop master is obviously very meticulous on all of these sets. If you only have a couple of examples of this in modern history.
I can't imagine. I feel so bad for Alec Baldwin. Like, he probably was not horsing around. It's not like he was playing with it and accidentally went off.
No, I doubt it.
I'm sure that they were, because the cinematographer and the director were right there. I'm sure that they were setting up the shot where the gun was supposed to go off, and they probably had a test shoot. And
how many times in cinema is a gun pointed directly at the camera for effect?
Yeah.
Every movie with a gun. You look down the barrel of the gun. And then this time something tragic happened.
Yeah, doesn't happen too often.
No, and it's just really crazy, and it's with an actor it's not some like obscure set in like a third world country where you're like, well, they're probably a little lax on the rules. I mean, this happened here.
That's very possible.
Yeah, and you have a feeling in a movie with Alec Baldwin that this was the only gun in the film,
right?
Like it's not like the Rambo remake where there were guns everywhere.
Right.
And the prop master has to keep track of 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
There's backups for the backups.
There's one gun. It's like the Mexican with Brad Pitt. Like, there's one gun that you know of in this movie.
Is that the movie where he's like El Camino? No. Doesn't he go down to Mexico?
What does he say? I didn't quite hear that.
Where he goes down to Mexico, and isn't Julia Roberts in it?
Yeah, but what did he say?
And it's a heart gun. And
but what did he say?
El Camino.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad you said it again.
That's all I remember. Well, obviously not all I remember because I just described the gun and the other settings, but that was my favorite part of the movie.
We move on to the saddest news this week. Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson are ruining Batman.
Oh, no.
Do you only say that because I actually was like, begrudgingly, this looks good. And now you're like, if Cody likes it.
And you're just trying to hurt me
must
emotionally.
Must be a turd.
I am going to take giant dumps on every film that released a trailer this week. So you guys go ahead, give your review, and then I'm going to just torch it to the ground.
Okay, well, let's start with Ambulance then.
Oh, God.
You go, Cody. Sorry.
What studio is that, Kyle?
Universal Pictures.
Universal. No, I heard a lot of good things from CinemaCon for this trailer. In fact, it was one of the few trailers outside of like Ghostbusters Afterlife, the screening where people were like, that actually looked really good.
Yes, that's correct.
So
it was awesome.
I didn't care about it at all.
Bummer.
It was just not my film. I thought it was well casted.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal looks awesome.
Yeah. They're Robin Banks. I don't care. I'm like, you made a bad decision. You deserve everything that happens to you afterwards.
But it's for family.
I don't feel any sympathy for him.
Okay.
For that character at all because he chose to do it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I thought it looked like a lot of fun. Obviously, it has a lot of the Michael Bay-isms that sometimes drives people nuts. But I think if done right, it could wind up being entertaining. Despite me still being seasick motion sick from the shaky cam. But no, I was just as entertained as I was when I first saw the trailer. It really surprised me at CinemaCon too.
I need this film to choose a freaking lane. All right. Is it a heist movie a la Heat? Great. Is it a good guys have to do bad things movie? Great. Is it a car chase movie? Great.
Like Speed.
Is it a romance in unexpected places movie? Great.
I definitely don't think it's that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't
Cody.
be surprised. It's Michael Bay.
But
never count
usually
him
that
out.
only happens the romance.
Have you ever seen a paramedic with that much cleavage?
when the good that's a Michael Bay movie. Like
that is also a Michael Bay.
She's just the new Megan Fox. She's just there for eye candy. That's all.
Okay.
But a good guy usually falls in love with that character, and the good guy is married with a baby. So I don't think that's going to happen in this situation.
Jake Gyllenhaal is also a good guy.
He's not a good guy,
and so is the cop that's also tried to track them down and says, "Don't shoot. We've got a brother officer in the ambulance." They're all good guys. It's just pick a lane. I mean,
it was chaotic.
Yeah, no, I mean it was chaotic, but it didn't have a Fast 9 a series of films holding it together. It didn't have Nicolas Cage running around with a nerve agent. It didn't have any of these things that didn't have giant robots. It didn't have the thing that Michael Bay uses to distract you from how bad the movie is.
No, it doesn't work.
You need something so big and aggressive, or it just needs to be a car chase movie or a heist movie or pick a lane.
It was trying to be all things to all people.
The trailer had 4 different movies in it. You could have cut it into 4 separate films.
Well, judging by how long Michael Bay's movies are, you can make 4 films out of them.
I thought Jake Gyllenhaal looked good in it.
Oh, he knows what movie he's in.
And it's nice
awesome.
to see him kind of as that bad guy in an action movie. Mm-hmm. That was kind of refreshing.
He's always naughty as far as I'm concerned. 5 o'clock shadow, Jake Gyllenhaal? Yes, please.
Well, speaking of 5 o'clock shadow Jake Gyllenhaal, how about squeaky clean Tom Holland in the new Uncharted movie?
So I know this is based off a video game, and it's been in development hell forever.
So long.
It was in production forever.
15 years.
Yeah. So we finally get to it, and we're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, Tom Holland. That's probably a pretty good casting because he's new and upcoming, and he's coming off Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He looked like him behind a bar in that scene, tending the bar. I was like, they're going to get their license revoked. This is obviously a minor behind the bar, like flipping it like he's Tom Cruise in Cocktails.
Yeah.
He looked like Short Round driving the car in Temple of Doom.
Oh. That's what it felt like. Thank you, Ken. He's way miscast. And then when they're like kind of doing some of the action scenes, I'm like, oh, he's really good. But then he's like shooting a gun. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for him either. Guns are for big boys.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got that too. I did enjoy the trailer. Like, there wasn't anything like glaringly bad about it to me. Maybe a bit too.
Other than a child behind the bar. Maybe
it might be a miscasting, and I think fans of the game will also echo what you're saying. Same with Mark Wahlberg and whatever character he's playing. I forget now, but I don't know. It looked entertained enough. That's about all I got for it. It wasn't a bad trailer. It was fine.
I don't mind ignoring some aspects of reality for a film.
Yeah.
He obviously, if I'm willing to watch Transformers, I will leave reality in the backseat. But Kyle, the part where they're dragging the crates behind the plane, is that part of the video game?
It is a sequence from a video game.
If you let go of anything that's dragging behind a plane, you leave the plane.
You fall. Yes.
You fall to your doom. He routinely jumps forward while the plane is going 500 miles an hour. It makes no freaking sense. Just, oh God, just be.
But it's from video game.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a callback or a reference.
Put him in a Spider-Man suit so we don't have to see his baby face. And
yeah.
It is wild.
That's why Spider-Man, I think, works so well with him. Because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a teenager, and he still looks like
and
it.
he's opposite of like Michael Keaton and Robert Downey Jr., who are way older than they look.
Yeah. Yeah, that all works. It
is crazy how young he is, or how young he looks.
Right. Because he's not young, and I'm sure he's perfectly at the same age as this character is supposed to be, but it still looks like a baby.
Yeah, but Sony loves Tom Holland, so.
Yeah.
And hey, this movie finally got made because of him, so.
Yeah, and now they'll be able to reboot it with somebody even younger 5 years from now.
They'll find someone.
Yeah.
All right. Is this when we talk about the Batman?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Batman.
I'll just say I'm very biased. This movie looks awesome. I'm very excited for this.
I begrudgingly agree. As long as Robert Pattinson's not in his Bruce Wayne costume and he's just the Batman, this movie looks good.
Cody, he literally, even when he's in his Batman costume, he's in his Bruce Wayne costume. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you.
He's Batman all the time.
He is Bruce. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
He is Bruce Wayne. Superman is Superman and puts on a Clark Kent costume because he is Superman all the time. Batman is Bruce Wayne all the time, regardless of what's going on.
I think he's always the Batman, and then he puts on a Bruce Wayne costume.
He is Batman. The fact that they're putting
Bruce Wayne
the Batman is also...
Bruce Wayne died with his parents. He's putting on a death mask.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's...
He is putting on a death mask. Bruce Wayne.
No, Batman is putting on Batman was resurrected when Bruce Wayne died, and now puts on Bruce Wayne's death mask.
How can he be resurrected if he wasn't born?
He was created.
He was erected?
He was erected, yes. Erected, Ken.
Well, the death mask thing brings up a good point. Like, this movie, you know, we've seen the dark and gritty aspect of Batman from, like, Christopher Nolan, but this actually looks like Gotham is a horrible place to live in, finally.
Gross.
And exactly. Gross, crime-filled, no one's ever good. And so it really brings up that aspect of Batman, along with, like, the detective parts that I think a lot of fans are really curious about. And I think it will make a lot of other people curious, too.
I like how they didn't... obviously, Paul Dano Riddler is the big baddie in the
Seems
film.
like it,
and I like how they left him kind of in the shadows, and you didn't quite see his face, and you never saw
that
his
is
face
the only
without
redeeming
a mask.
quality of this trailer.
Yeah,
that you don't have to
because
look at Paul Dano's
he is
face.
hard to
Paul
look at.
Dano.
But the
doesn't
Penguin
deserve
character, played by Colin Farrell, was my favorite part of this trailer.
It's crazy that that's him.
Yeah, I love how he's like a New Jersey mafia guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so good in it, and his face is so unrecognizable, yet so you instantly knew that was Penguin. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Ken.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
He's gonna be my
So
favorite
good.
part of this.
I'm counting this as Cody's on my side.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Ken. Crush my heart.
How weird is
I
that?
would rather watch
You're-
the original Batman movie starring Adam West backwards
No.
in reverse
stop.
Might be more comprehensible.
with instead of watching this trailer.
No, you're just
this trailer
you're
is
butthurt because
horrifying.
Batman's not Ben Affleck anymore,
I'm
and you
butthurt
look like Ben
because-
Affleck. So you're.
Robert
This is why you're
Pattinson-
like, no other Batman shall come to pass. I do not look like anybody else but Ben Affleck.
Robert Pattinson looks like something Ben Affleck uses as a feminine hygiene product. Okay, he is tiny, he is slender, he is insignificant. He made John David Washington look like Black Adam. Okay, yeah. he is nothing. He's a Q-tip.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I will.
Selena Kyle Catwoman looked
okay, you
nearly
mean
the same size as him.
you mean non-curvy Rosario Dawson?
Yes.
We're gonna get the most slender, cheapest Rosario Dawson lookalike we can.
God.
Oh, Halle Berry's not available? Let's get someone that looks remotely like her in a funhouse mirror that just makes you straight.
Yeah. I think they had to get somebody tinier than Robert Pattinson, okay? It was just...
Yeah, they should have cast an actual cat. Okay? Then it would have made him look like a reasonable size.
Catwoman.
Meow.
Oh, that would have made way more sense than like, oh yes, she's also a crime fighter, or is she?
Have to disagree, Ken. Casting looks awesome.
She looks like a police baton.
Okay, well, there's one more trailer, and I think we can all agree on this one. Redeeming Love from Universal Pictures coming out in January.
It played, you said it on the Dune trailer.
It was the first trailer to play on the Dune trailer, and I thought I was in the wrong movie for a second. I don't know why they play. It's the wrong audience, Universal.
This is an obvious like romance novel that must have sold enough copies that somebody's like, let's make that a movie. Well, I don't know.
Let's option it. See,
Yeah. Women will love this, and they'll come in droves because they can see it on the big screen. Well, nobody wants to see that on the big screen. These are guilty pleasure stories, and women don't. They don't want to go see this.
But Little Women worked.
No, Little Women is not this story.
I know.
This poor
It's
girl
definitely
grows up in a whorehouse, and then she has to do all these awful things because she's in a whorehouse in the West.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, but I'm redeemed because I found the love of my life." Like, ugh, none of this looks good.
Yeah.
Again, not a post Me Too era. None of this, I think, plays very well at all.
Nope.
You guys have this opinion of it. I'm going to shock you and say, if this wasn't a Bleecker Street movie, this would sell. This is the Outlander. This is the Game of Thrones.
This is Universal title.
I thought it was. Oh, it's Universal. For some reason, I thought I saw
It's a
Bleecker Street. Which one was
Universal-
the Bleecker Street one we saw?
It was
the
India
and
Sweets and Spices.
Yeah,
Spices. There
that
we
one
go.
looked,
Okay,
that one
so-
looked better than this movie.
No, This is
100%.
sexual tension. She is bipolar. She likes being a prostitute and falling in love.
Bipolar. She's traumatized.
Yeah,
I think that's
she's
the right
traumatically
word.
bipolar.
Sexually abused her whole life. There's nothing good. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so was
one
the guy
thing-
in 50 Shades of Grey.
This
Yeah.
episode
And then everybody went and saw that, and that made $100
the
million.
difference is that's the guy in it, and he's a billionaire, and
If
it plays to
you-
women's fantasies. Women don't like this savior fantasy when the woman is like all messed up. Like, ugh, who's saving who here? It's gross.
I know. I think this is actually a romance movie for men, and I'm into it.
Oh, jeez, Ken, no. God, everything you said about the Batman, I'm taking out of my brain. Forget that.
He's just gonna mute your mic from now on.
This is such a troll.
He finally caught on.
Gosh.
100 episodes in, and he finally figured it out. I'm just trying to tip the boat over here.
This is when
You finally broken me.
This is when
You've
you know.
broken me, Batman. Now I broke you.
This is when you know there's no curation in the trailers. Like that Regal just slapped this on because they're getting that big paycheck from Universal, and they're like, "Sure, Dune, this totally makes sense."
Yeah.
No, I mean, it
Yeah.
literally shows rape in the trailer like countless number of times.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
It's brutal.
It really made sure to let you know that
the creepy,
She
like,
was-
I'm gonna call you Angel, and that creepy man touching that little girl's face. Like, you don't. Sometimes things just don't translate to a visual medium. It just doesn't. You visually don't want to see it.
Last Duel, it was very.
subtle or hidden.
It was subtle. It was as minimally subtle as it could be.
Yes.
Except you have
And this-
Adam Driver like pacing
Correct.
down the hall, opening all the doors, looking for her.
Correct.
Ooh.
But it was just like you
But
knew
that
it happened.
could've
been
This,
anything.
it showed you that.
It did show
was
you it
right in
happening.
your face. It's like, how many times can we show her being flung onto a bed with fear in her eyes?
Yeah,
I just
half
wonder-
naked, just crying.
I just wonder why they thought about that in the trailer. Was it like, you know what? Let's just announce what this
They
is.
could have left it at she grew up in a whorehouse, and that you can't get, within 3 feet of her without the big boss is coming, and then the love part, and then people might have been like, oh, it's kind of a fun love story, like the unobtainable girl. No,
I mean,
like,
No, the
ugh.
if they didn't know about that dark stuff that we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's possible people would have walked in and be like, "Oh my god, I did not know."
Yeah.
No, the trailer immediately made me think that this was like something that Harvey Weinstein optioned, and then Universal got it for a deal, and then
Right.
just had to make it.
They're like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, we got this one.
We got the
No,
we
you
got
know-
the film option for this for $35.
You know what it
Yeah.
is they optioned this after 50 Shades of Grey, and then they took too long making it. Now they're trying to put it out, and it's like wrong time. That time has passed.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We never did that, Cody. It was never okay.
We don't do that anymore now. Not the rape. I meant like those love movies.
Kyle?
This
like that.
episode is not getting to be on
Those
air.
those like romance novels turned movies thing.
We will-
The rape is-
okay,
we've never
now I
done the
get you.
rapes.
We are. We're gonna get an email saying this
I know.
episode's been dropped.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about that. I was just
Oh.
talking about like this is a obvious. I feel like this is Universal being like, we need the next 50 Shades of Grey, and this is Westerny one is not it.
I just hope that they recognize this and they put it in January so that way they can get it over with.
They're going to open it the same weekend they open 355, which is the women empowering movie. And
Yeah.
they're going to have this
Oh my
movie
gosh, you're right.
to bury it.
Oh, yeah, that I
No,
did not think of.
this one I'll put early as my replicas of 2022.
Yeah.
Like, this is one that's just going to go out there. They're going to release it wide because they have to. And it's
Yeah.
going to do like $2 million on
Yeah.
a 3,000 screen count.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, let's try another day and date with Peacock.
I mean, streaming can have it.
Yeah.
Like seriously, why not just put it on streaming?
It definitely looked like a streaming movie.
I wonder if there must have been a theatrical contract to it before Peacock,
Yeah,
right?
if it was the post 50 Shades of Grey like snap up of romance novels,
Possible.
then yeah, there probably is a theatrical component to it.
This is the one time where we're like, no, you can take it.
You can take it. Even I'm like, ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing good about this one.
So how about we get out of here?
I will say, okay, there is one good thing. The male lead, the redeeming lover was very handsome. Like, I could see that happening. He was very handsome. That's the only believable part of the whole thing.
Cool. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you,
in case you were wondering, people.
I'm here to rescue you, broken sack of flour.
Pretty much. Oh, are you gonna ride on your horse?
Get along, little doggy.
Get your 6-shooter out. Protect me.
Hello, pilgrim. Oh, God.
Ladies, stand back. This one's mine.
I'm broken. I'm broken.
Oh,
jeez. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for indulging with us on this episode. You can find us on all podcast platforms if you want to hear more episodes similar to this one.
Or not.
Or not. And also check out silverscreeninsider.com, where if you're a theater owner or manager needing updated and accurate film information for the upcoming releases and marketing assets that come along with them, check us out there.
all right. Big grosses, everybody.
Big Dune and Ron's Gone Wrong weekend.
Let's do it.